All right. Now, if you've seen me use honeysuckle before, you know how much fun it is. I love using it. Now, this is a piece, we get it by the roll. I'm going to hold it up and let you see it. Here's a roll of honeysuckle. And it was easier just to pull this little part right out of the middle to use on this wreath today. And we sell this, the same lady that makes our birch wreaths for us harvests honeysuckle. And I believe this is a 16-inch wreath right here we're going to start with. Now I know you're thinking, how am I going to get those two pots in a 16-inch wreath where it looks decent? I will show you. We're going to tie everything in with pipe cleaners. So I'm going to pull a few out, even the clay pots. Now I want to make a loop. I want to make two loops actually. I want to make one right there for the larger pot. I want to make one over here for the smaller. I got to trim this a little bit because I want to stick, I've got 3 pieces all together, but I want to stick it into the wreath where it'll stay. We talked about this some in my last video. If you're using a grapevine wreath, this is harder to do because grapevine wreaths are tied and round around each other very tightly. Our birch wreaths they're more airy, and you do have more room to wrap it around, stick it in your wreaths and then wrap it around your pots. And look, I'm just twisting it around. I'm going to hold this pot up and see. Okay, I'm going to need it just a little bit tighter. And I'm not even cutting my honeysuckle yet because I don't know where I want to cut it. I'm going to tie this in with a pipe cleaner. I'll thread it through my wreath. I'm going to pull it really tight. Now, I know you can see the green where the pipe cleaner is right now, but when we're through, we'll put some glue and some green sheet moss on it, and it's not going to show. I want this, let's see. Yeah, you'll have to fight with this a little bit, just like I am. You just have to work with it. It's not fighting with it. It's natural, and it's going to curl naturally. And if there's a piece that's, well, I was going to cut that, but it just came right out. If there's a piece that's not going where you want it to go, you might want to cut it. Now this is the loop that's going to hold the pot. But I want a piece that's going to wrap up underneath it that the pot will rest on too. So I'm going to go ahead and tie in another piece right through here. I'm going to reach around the back. If you've never been to my website, it is ladybugwreaths.com, and I sell wreaths, We have ready-made wreaths. We make custom wreaths for your home, any shape, size, or color that you want. We sell a lot of my DVDs, instructional DVDs on wreath making. And I have a lot of downloadable DVDs. Then I also have, well, we have 2 more websites. Another one is Best of Nancy, where we teach women like you how to sell online, how to set up an Etsy store and a Facebook page. Wow, look at that big knot I've got. I'm going to have to cut something, and I didn't want to. But our membership site is great. We have a lot of women in there. We have an active forum where everyone can go in and ask questions, and we post pictures of wreaths for Linda and I to comment on them or to critique them, whichever you like. And then all the other ladies in there are so nice. They encourage each other. Everyone does. And if someone's a little unsure about whether or not a wreath is working right or looking right, they'll put a picture up there. And they'll get a lot of comments from all the ladies in Best of Nancy. Well, I don't think I've ever had such a jumble of... It'd do better if I just go ahead and cut it a little bit more. The other website is passionintoprofits.com, and that is our coaching and our workshop website, because we do offer online coaching, private coaching, and we do give workshops here in my studio. And we have group workshops and private workshops. We have a lot of fun. Now notice I'm just kind of threading this piece through. It's curling where it wants to curl, so I'm just going to thread it through. I'm not worrying about it holding a pot right now. I might just let that one hang down anyway, because it's not cooperating. That's part of the problem right there. Now I want to bring it up and I want to make another loop. It's hard when you're doing several pieces at once. If I just had one big fat one, it would be a lot easier, but this is what came out of the roll, so this is what we're using. Now notice I'm going to wrap this around, and I want it to come up in here because I'm going to have to make it smaller, but I want that pot to fit up a little bit higher. And then if this loop is not tight enough, I can put another one inside it. So don't worry too much about it when you're at this stage where I am right now, because as you can see, it's just kind of, it does what it wants to do. But the trick is learning how to make it work with your pots. And yes, I'm using my scissors to cut the pipe cleaners, because it's time for us to get new wire cutters. So now it'll be time to get new scissors. These are our ribbon scissors. just keep tying, just keep bunching it up and bending it and tying it where you want it to go, just like I'm doing. Doesn't matter how many times you tie it in. And you know how we did the clay pots, distressing them? You can do that with clay pot shards also. A lot of times we'll lay a cloth over a clay pot and we'll hit it with a hammer, or we'll just break a few pieces. And sometimes you might need a piece to stick in your wreath to help hold in something. And those are good if you distress them too. Now I'm going to make this even tighter because I know that loop wasn't going to hold this pot. So let's see. Look how cute it's going to be with all those little loops around it. And when you get to the end, just kind of poke it all the way through to the back. And we're going to glue all these in a minute. We had storms here yesterday. We had I think it was 2 tornadoes. We were at a play that my niece was in, and they walked in right in the middle of the play. The man said, 2 tornadoes have touched down, and one is heading this way, so you're safer if you just stay here, and if we have to, if it comes close, if we have to release the pressure, we'll just open the back door. Well, it was kind of scary with all the tornadoes everybody's had lately. And it did touch down in 2 different places. I see that one's fitting really good right there. And that one's going to fit. I want it to turn a little bit. There's my bird clock. My bird clock's always on the videos, no matter what time we film. All right, now to make these pots stay in very tightly, I'm going to twist 2 of my pipe cleaners together. I bend the ends over each other and then twist the little pieces. Because these pots have holes in the bottom. Now some don't have holes in the bottom, and if they don't, you can use a nail, or you can use your husband's screwdriver like I did the other day. And if you hammer it in very gently right in the center of the pot, you can usually just make a little hole there. There's an indentation, even though it doesn't go all the way through. So notice I'm going to sit my pot right here. Well, I need to thread my pipe cleaner through. So we're not going to depend completely on the honeysuckle holding our pots in place. I'll tie this one in real tightly. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to twist my pipe cleaners together. It gets hot in here when we film. Kim's opening the door to let a little air in. We can't have the air conditioner on because then you can't hear me really well. This pot fit in here so good, I'm not going to take it out. I'm going to leave it sitting here. And I'm going to tie it in this way. Now I'm using one of our easels that we sell, and it's so great because I can reach behind it, and I can reach inside it. Can you believe for years, I mean years, I used to make a wreath lying flat on the counter. And every single thing that I would stick in it, I'd have to pick it up to look at it to see if it looked right. And we had an old easel that we sold some paintings in the shop too, and we had an old easel that the back leg came off of. And one day, I got so tired of fighting with the wreath, I propped my easel up and I put a big nail in the top of it, hung my wreath on it, and oh, I was in heaven. Okay. These pots are in here very tightly. I wanted this one to point in that direction and it just wasn't going to, so that's okay. I'm going to add other loops of honeysuckle throughout the whole wreath. And if it wants to curl a little bit, leave some curls. That just adds to the character of it. I need some bigger pieces out of the middle of this. Oh, that's a good one right there. This is what I needed when I was doing the pots. Okay. Now you can go out in the woods and you can harvest your own honeysuckle, and we have done that many times. I don't know if it's still blooming anymore, is it? Usually in the spring when it blooms. If you don't know what a honeysuckle looks like, you can just ride around and look. A lot of times you'll just see it on the side of the road because you'll see the yellow blossoms. And then you'll know where it is, and you can go back and look for it when you need it. Okay, I like that one sticking up in the air right there. It makes the wreath look larger. And then when we start adding the flowers, we bring our flowers and our green wreath out really far too. So you'd never know that you started with a 16-inch base, and a lot of times, probably more times than not, we start with a 14-inch base. Now this one's wanting to just curl back up all by itself without me doing anything, so I'm going to let it. It's wanting to go up, so I'm going to let it go up, and we'll come back around. I'll need to thread it through this little loop right here. I'm getting slapped in the face and hit all over with this thing. There, that's where I wanted it to go. Make sure you have lots of pipe cleaners because you'll use them. And then when we start using the glue, make sure you have lots of glue because we'll use that too. I better not cut without being able to see what I'm cutting, because I've reached back there before with a hand back there. And I cut right there. That didn't feel good. Now I want another piece hanging down pretty low, so I'm going to thread this up here, find me another hole. There we go. Just stick it in as far as you want to stick it in. I think I want that one to hang down about that far. It's hanging out the back. When we finish our wreath, we turn it around and we cut all of the extra pieces. If it looks really bad on the back, we put some glue and a little bit of moss, because you never know when someone might be hanging it on a glass door where they can see it inside their house. So you want the back to look as good as the front. Well, not as good as the front, but you want the back to be finished. I'm going to put just a little bit more, because I want another little loop on this side. One side is a little bit wilder than the other, and that's okay. I don't really try to balance them out, but I just think this side needs. I want this one to be kind of wild. Move that out of my way, because I'm through with that now. And pull when you're twisting your pipe cleaners, pull them as tight as you can pull them. Now I don't want that to go so far up in the middle, so one more little time, we'll be through with that part. I just wanted it to kind of hang out this side some. Y'all are probably hearing noise on the mic every time the honeysuckle slaps me. If you are, I'm sorry, because it is getting me. Now, it's hard to tell right there how a wreath like this will look when it's finished. And this is one of our free videos, so I'm just going to show you this part today. But I will put a picture of the finished wreath after we've added everything in it at the end of the video. Notice I'm just getting a little pinch of moss, and everywhere I've got a pipe cleaner showing, I shoot a little bit of glue on it, and you have to be really careful because it can come right through. And there's some spaces I meant to go back and just shoot some glue in to make sure I'm holding all the loops in place. And notice I'm just shooting it here and there everywhere I see that I put some in there and glued it. That one needs a little bit more, it's still a little loose. it's squeaking. Honeysuckle all over me. Doesn't need one quite yet. Okay. We're going to put a little bit more moss. And then there's going to be room in this wreath for a bird's nest and a bird. And of course we'll put all of our leafy greens that we put around the outside of our wreath. And we buy all of that from the vendors in my secret vendor list. And if you're going to start making wreaths and you want to get the best prices for your materials, I tell you, the very best places to get it. And there's one in particular, and I visit them twice a year, in the spring and in the fall. And I go around the entire showroom with the owner. He points out to me everything that's new for the year. He points out the prices. So I call out the prices and the item numbers to you. You don't have to go there to buy. You don't have to go to any of these places in my vendor list to buy. You can just order it. Now the one that I order from the most, that I was talking about, where I go and film, I can place an order with them. Well, I think I placed one last Friday. It was here Saturday before noon. They're very conscientious and make sure that they get them out in time. Now I'm going to put this piece kind of inside the pot a little bit on the back where the pipe cleaner was tying it in, but we'll have some. In a pot this size, I'd probably put a little piece of styrofoam before we put some flowers in it and some moss on top of that. Sometimes we'll put some sponge mushrooms up underneath. We have them sticking out. They're on sticks and they're real, but they're preserved, and they will stick out the bottom. I would show you, but I don't. Do we have any left? I think we're out. These are preserved sponge mushrooms. And a lot of times when you're working with pots like this, I think this one looks fine because I like the way the honeysuckle is underneath it. But this one to me looks like it needs to be anchored a little bit. And you'll just have to kind of pull this in and out till you find the right. Now, can you see how that just kind of anchors the pot? We'll shoot some glue up in there. It's hanging way out the back, so let me trim off the back. I got a lot of stuff hanging out the back. And then you can do like I do, just throw it down on the ground instead of the trash can. I'm going to put some moss right there, and I'm going to slide some more moss in between the mushroom and the pot. The sheet moss is wonderful. I love using it. It hides all your mistakes. It hides where things are tied in. I'm going to push this in with a stick because I'll get burned if I didn't. Now I'm going to probably put a little more. Gosh, I'm getting glue all over me. I'll probably put a little more moss up underneath there when I start putting the flowers. And I'll put a little moss right there where we've got a pipe cleaner for the hook at the top. We did that when we got started. Now, well, I keep seeing places where I need moss. When you're doing this part, it kind of makes the pots look like they're anchored in. You know how when they're outside in the yard or they're sitting on the ground and stuff grows up around them? That's the way you want them to look in your wreath. You want them to look like they were just, like stuff just kind of grew up around it and stuck it in, anchored it in. Okay. That is all we're going to do in Wreath Tips with Nancy today. I'm going to hold it up and I've still got a loose one here I need to work on. Now this is how we distress our pots, and look, aren't they cute like that? Much better than putting a brand new pot in there. You can distress it by rubbing it on, or you can distress it the way we did these by dipping it in the water. And the honeysuckle is great. It makes your wreath wilder. It makes it look much fuller. Then as we start adding, we'll do the greens next and then our flowers. You'll end up with an absolutely gorgeous wreath. Well, thank you for letting me come into your home again today. I've enjoyed it, and I hope you have. Come and visit me on my website, ladybugwreaths.com, and I'll see you later. Bye.